puts me all the way back to elementary school when everything was done alphabetical order. And so they usually said, okay, Lonnie, you can look on with Jackie Snyder because we don't have enough books, okay? So, not a problem. You can always wrap it up if you're the last one. You know, you can touch on everything. But everybody's already said a lot of the things that I would want to say anyway. I grew up in Cleveland, Tennessee, about 50 miles from Murphy, North Carolina. And when I graduated from high school, there was no money for college. So I joined the Army, which was kind of the thing to do back then. Most of the males that I knew as I was growing up had served either in World War I, World War II, or Korea. So I thought, well, let me join the Army and maybe I can get this money to get college after the Army. Well, I stayed 26 years in the Army, but they sent me to school while I was there, and I was able to get a bachelor and master's degree while serving with the Army. They would say, okay, but now you'll have to serve 6 more years after you get this. And it's kind of like Burr Rabbit throwing in the briar patch. I said, I'm staying anyway, so thank you. My wife and I were looking for a place to live because my daughter and her family moved to Apex. At the time, I was, after my military retirement, of course, I owned a mortgage company in South Carolina. I had 3 offices, Florence, Lake City, and Sumter, South Carolina. We wanted to move up here. We kept driving up, and we could choose anywhere we wanted to go, and we kept coming back to Chatham County. We loved Pittsboro. We drove around Pittsboro. So several years ago, we bought a house over in Silk Hope area, lived there for 10 or 12 years, and in 2012, I think, we moved into Chatham Forest, and the rest is history. One of the things that happened when I was leaving for my first military service, a bunch of these guys were sitting around. They said, don't ever volunteer for anything. And they had told me about that before. They had given me other advice. They said, don't drive over 50 miles an hour, don't drink any liquor, and stay away from those wild girls in Polk County. I couldn't wait to volunteer. They had been wrong about everything else up to that point. I have, in Chatham County, I've worked for the county at first and was the executive director of the Council on Aging. And with a fantastic board, which included Ms. Mary Nettles, we were able to pay off the mortgage of that senior center and build a new senior center inside our city. I've served on several boards, the Transportation Board. I've served on the Affordable Housing Board 3 times, and we are doing some great work there. And the town board that is working right now in Pittsboro is coming up with some really good ideas, and I think that is going to help alleviate the affordable housing problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.